I want you to imagine the scenario that the CEO is walking onto the stage and music starts to play. He's called all his audience, all the company together for the town hall meeting. Everybody's whispering that something new is about to begin. He walks onto the stage and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I've invited you here today for the launch of our new strategy. It's a strategy that is going to take our organization to new frontiers. It is a strategy that is going to be good for our customers, good for our shareholders, and good for each and every one of you. But I alone cannot make the strategy work. I need every one of you to work, not just as a department, but as a family. Because only as a family can we make our strategy come alive." And he turns to the audience and he says, "Are you with me?" And the audience shouts back, and everybody's cheering and pumping arms. And two guys at the back of the room go, "What was that all about?" "I don't know, but hey, you know, the food outside is really good. Let's go and get something to eat." On any given day, somewhere in the world, there is a CEO launching a new strategy. There's a sense of anticipation, a sense of excitement. But go back into the organization 6 months later, a year later, what percentage of strategies successfully deliver on the promise? What percentage really deliver after all the fanfare and excitement? 10%. That's it. 90% of strategies fail. And we don't even put the benchmark very high. We're just saying to achieve 50% of your goals. And yet still 90% fail. After all the investment in time, in development, pulling the best brains in the organization, a year, 2 years, sometimes outsourcing to help, and yet 90%, 9 out of 10 times, it doesn't deliver. And it's a delight to share with you today what the work that we do in terms of strategy implementation. And I'd like to follow on with a warning. One of the questions I get asked the most when I'm interviewed or people are asking about this is, why? Why do you keep failing? You know, if 9 out of 10, which we first published in 2002, what's the problem? And my biggest warning for yourself as leaders is that most leaders, not yourselves of course, all the other ones, but most leaders completely underestimate the implementation challenge. What do I mean by that? We craft the strategy, we put it together, we develop what needs to be done, and then unbelievably, you see the leader sit back and go, "Okay, you go and implement." And they delegate the responsibility of implementation. And as a result, it fails. Too many leaders on too many occasions underestimate the whole challenge. With your partner, could you please now answer the following question? Okay? Would you prefer to have A or B? A is a good strategy implemented badly, or B, a bad strategy but implemented well? Now, yeah, you know, I presented this just recently in Mumbai, and the answer must be C. There's no C, okay? You have to choose A or B. Let me explain also more why B. Does anybody start off with a bad strategy? Does anyone sit in the boardroom and go, "Let's come up with a bad strategy"? No, of course. How do you know if your strategy is good or bad? Only when you start to execute it, okay? Now, you can have a great strategy, but if you're no good at execution, then it goes nowhere. The companies who are being successful through today's turbulence are those who can execute, like McDonald's, returning 5% year on year. Okay? How are they doing it? because they have in place the communications, the measurement, the tracking, the governance, the reviews, the performance to make sure that if the strategy is not working, they know. And they go back upstream and make it come alive and make it happen. But a lot of the time, we don't even know it's not working. Okay? It's like building the Titanic. Okay? All the promise in the world, the best strategy on the maiden voyage, hits the iceberg and sinks.